And we are live.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen, where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air, testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So
Ray,
sit
you're
back,
now host.
relax, and let's see what's
Thank
in
you.
our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks. We'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with ease. So if your meetings lag, or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We've got your back, no wreck. We've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way.
Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen. I'm going to step in as the initial host this week. David is going to join us very, very soon. So that was David throwing us the countdown. So David will be joining us, as I said, very, very soon. And we will go around the room and let's see who's joined us as panelists this week. Let's start with my co-host in crime, Mr. Ray Franklin. How are you doing this week, Ray?
I'm great. Thanks, Mike. And I love the last minute calls from David. He's a busy man, and we're happy to pitch in anytime we can. So greetings from Central Florida, where we're enjoying the fruits and benefits of living in Florida.
Living
Wish
in
everybody
Florida.
a Happy New Year. And by the way, the airport, I dropped my wife off this morning to go north. The airport's full of people coming to Orlando today.
Yes. And nobody is leaving Toronto today. Full stop. There might be something related to, they have to de-ice the planes. You've heard this technology? Yes. We are
Well,
definitely,
they
yes.
haven't been practicing. So, now they can practice for a couple of weeks and get us on schedule.
Exactly. All righty, cool. Tamara, how are you this week?
I am good. I wasn't sure if I was going to pop on because I haven't been feeling really well, but I was like, I have to go. I need to see my friends.
Excellent. And we love seeing you here too. Excellent. Miss Lois.
Hello, hello, hello. I can't say Merry Christmas. Well, I can say Merry Christmas, but it's a little after the fact here. But I can say the solstice is over, and every day the day gets longer, and it's wonderful. And today, for the first time in weeks, we have sunshine.
We do not here in Southern California. We have rain.
Yeah,
Lots
well,
of it, apparently. Lots of it. Apparently,
lot.
the flooding's been terrible.
I mean, to be fair, for any amount of rain for us is a little bit too much, but it's a lot.
Yes, Lois and all my Californians, are you guys all okay with all the
Yes.
flooding that we're hearing? Yes, I'm getting thumbs up from everybody. Excellent.
but
Good.
what's happening is that there's two storms coming in from the ocean, and they come in right towards the middle of the state. One swoops north, one swoops south. I'm in the middle of the state. I don't get swooped on. She does.
I'm getting
Thank-
swooped also from Hawaii, which is why it's called, I hate this so much, the Pineapple Express.
The
Thank
Mango
you, Jim.
Express.
Thank you,
they're
Jim
not, they're not
Cantori.
growing pineapples anymore. There's the Mango
Mine
Express.
down here, they said it's pineapples and it's making me crazy. I'm like, the East Coast gets like polar vortex and I get the Pineapple Express. Give me a break. But it's really an atmospheric river, which is a cool weather word, I think.
Hello, Hasmak.
Asmug, how are you? How's the shoulder? Oh, I'm getting okay.
It's a
You still
10.
working?
It's either a 10 or a
It's a
1.
10.
It depends on how you look at it.
5
Oh.
and 5. Oh, it's a 15.
15 out of 10. Hey, that's excellent.
5 and 5 is
10.
10. Yes, we can
Yes.
count.
Yes, Hasmug. Yes,
5 out
Hasmug.
of 10.
There he is. 5 out of 10. Okay, so only half, only 5 out of 10. Okay, excellent. And Robert's joining us on YouTube. Hello, Robert in Poland. Excellent. Okay. I'm not
Robert's also
entirely
under
sure-
the weather. He reported he's sick in bed with whatever is going around. It's going around as far as Poland and Southern California. Just not fair.
Right. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Excellent. Well, Robert, it's good that you're able to join us even on YouTube. So watch the chaos that is the Zoom Test Kitchen this week. The Boxing Day edition. Boxing Day edition. I did do that right. Okay.
And there's Roland and there's John.
There's Roland and there's John. Lord Zoom. Come in, Lord Zoom.
I can
As
hear
he's
you.
wor- Oh, he can hear us and we can hear him. That's half the battle. There we go.
That's cool.
Excellent.
So, Lord Zoom, where's Lady Zoom?
Oh, isn't that an important? That's
It's
that's
gone.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll get John's reply on that momentarily.
HR won't allow that. That's a question we
That
can't
line of
pose.
questioning is
Yes. Thank you.
Borderline. Yeah. Mhm.
There
Got it.
is a qualification process.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, qualification process. Cool. Okay, so Mr. Paskin, we do not know what you had in mind. But let's open up the floor to questions. If anybody does have any Zoom related questions that you did run into this week, should it be during your family event that maybe you did on Zoom, or maybe a last minute related holiday Zoom event? Love to hear about it. Love to know that, was there certain things that you wish you could do that you didn't do? Is there things that maybe you thought that you could have done better or should have done better? There's all those type of, we're all here to learn. We're all here to bounce ideas and setups and such off of each other how we make sure that we, get the best out of, in this case, using Zoom to our fullest capacities. Ms. Temra.
Hello, I will ask a couple questions. I feel like I know these answers, but I felt like I didn't know them when they were posed to me in a meeting. How can someone can we like talk through how things are recorded and how recordings are stored? Because I have that crazy hybrid event that I still am in the process of trying to slowly bring them onto um, upping it from what they're currently doing, which is basically projecting a Zoom meeting into with some weird device into a regular meeting. And then they didn't like the video records last time. And I feel like they didn't like them because they had a particular person who has a terrible setup at home recording them. But can we just like flip through that a little bit? And then also like how long do recordings last and all that kind of craziness? Because they were trying to tell me that, they can't use their cloud recording because of some particular, I don't even know. So I would love to just like, if we could do that easy stuff that I know everybody knows the answer to, that would be amazing.
Can I start with the home recording?
Yes, please.
Okay, so when a person has a meeting, they can give permission to people to record on their own computer at home. And if you do that and the person pushes the button and says record at home, then it creates a file on their computer and it can be stored forever. Zoom has no control over that once you've recorded something to home. Now, what happens is at the end of the meeting, when the meeting ends, then the information which is at Zoom at that point gets transmogrified, if you will, and turns into a file on your computer. So there is a slight window after the meeting ends and before you can do something. So if you're recording something and you want to immediately replay it, you give yourself a little time. So that's the home recording. Now over to you for.
Can I ask a question
recording.
about that? Because
Yes.
that all makes sense to me.
Yep.
What is actually being recorded? Like it, because
okay.
that's the part that I'm getting, because I went back in, this will get to the cloud recordings later, because I knew that there was a way that I have in the past had multiple tracks and all this kind of stuff, and I could not find that option anymore. So my first question is, when someone is recording from home, what is being recorded exactly?
That
That is a
depends
very
on
good
what you
question.
have set your settings up for that particular meeting and for you. So I have mine set up so that when I'm making a radio show, when I interview someone, I have a normal recording, video, and then an audio recording of both of us. And then I also, because I've set it up ahead of time, I have separate individual audio recordings for each person who was in the meeting. And that's because the way I want to handle that.
For
Someone will
local records?
yeah.
Because I feel like so that was where I know I can go in and set them up on mine for the cloud recording, but I wanted to know if anybody knew if that changed, because
That has changed.
because I could not find that at all. That was not an option anymore.
Well,
when it-
for
No,
local record, it's still there.
No, it's changed. It's
No.
changed a lot. If you think back when we first started using Zoom meetings in COVID days,
Mhm.
and I'm still trying to find where my camera is on this computer, so you may see me one day. When that first was out, the options for what you can record locally were much more detailed than they are now.
Yeah.
The basic rule for local recording now is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get.
That's what I
So
thought.
if you start a recording and then you decide that you want to find if Lois's camera is better than mine, and you go to gallery view, your recording is going to switch with you to gallery view.
That's what I thought.
And this is what's causing a lot of problems for people, because you won't notice it's an issue until you flip into the other versions of the screen to see what's going on. So Lois is completely right,
Right.
but she's also in a way slightly wrong because of this change in the way that the local recording sees your recording. So if you switch from spotlighting one person to spotlighting two people to looking at the gallery view, whatever your main view is
Right.
on your screen is what records for you. Now, that can be an advantage if you know that that's true, because you
Right.
can set up a machine for local recording, and you could specifically say, I want this particular machine to record a gallery view for me, and I'm going to have
Mhm.
another computer that's going to record the speaker. So you can make it um, to your
So
view, but it is an issue, and you will get caught out.
So, okay, so that I that's what I kind of figured out. But I thought that you could set more granular things like Lois was saying for gallery for if it was a cloud recording, and I went to do it this last week and couldn't find it.
You can do
So,
much
So
more on the cloud recording. The one thing that is certainly true, which we need to reiterate, is what Lois said about the separate audio recordings, because this has been an issue for a lot of people
right.
who want to have a podcast where people might have accidentally talked over each other, and you want to remove that over talking in post.
So,
and
But that's
I
now
just
available in the
recorded
cloud.
I just recorded one 2 days ago, and I did get all of the separate audio recordings. So
Yeah.
it's still there.
Oh, yeah, it is Lois, but it's also now available at the cloud level as well.
So I would love to see where that is because I think it moved in transit at some point because my computers were all set up. I put a brand new machine and I went to go and set it up and I literally could not find it anywhere. So I just I'm sure this is user error. I just couldn't figure out how to select all of those things. And I have done it in the past and I know that it exists and I have it on some machines that do it. So I didn't know if it like went away or if it is somewhere just hidden that I am not sure. I'm gonna go right now to see if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as Tamara goes to look, go ahead, John.
I'm muting myself in the wrong direction.
Oh boy.
Too much. I haven't finished all my Christmas wine.
Uh-huh. Or
And I'm
not
working
enough.
on it.
I
I'm
understand.
working on it.
Attaboy.
So yes, you've got two sets of settings to worry about.
Okay.
You've got your settings in your Zoom program on your machine,
Mm-hmm.
which you need to select whether you're going to do a cloud recording or a local recording. And again, when you start a meeting, you can schedule a meeting. You now have all those settings available to you to say, I want a cloud recording or I want a local recording.
Right. But isn't there
But
something
on the
the
zoom.us site,
Mm-hmm.
you need to set your configurations up there. And that's where you have a diminishing list of options for what you can record locally and a much more now extensive list of what you can record into the cloud.
So
And my short advice to everybody is stop recording locally for your main recording. Record your main recording to the cloud, because you all have a small amount of storage there, but then get it off the cloud reasonably quickly.
okay.
And the
So
cheeky way to do that is to download it and then delete it, and it will stay in the deleted box for 30 days.
when
So if you
I
do
go to
find you've got it wrong,
settings, when
yeah,
I go to settings and I go down to recordings, it says record with Smart AI Companion and create with each recording highlights, summary and chapter clips, next steps, and meeting coach. And there is nothing else, guys. It's voice recorder with AI Companion. And I'm trying to find that space where you used to be able to decide what you wanted to find, and I cannot find it. So I'm clearly looking in the wrong place. Let me try down
Well,
here.
mine has different things in that recording under the settings under the workplace. Mine has different preferences.
Mine did as well, and it does not now. And I'm
But-
looking in the recording and transcripts, and there's nothing in there. So I'm starting to get very worried. And that's why I bring this up. When I put,
Tamara, if you go to settings,
yes,
local recording, then after that you have recording preferences. Then you have another tab called advanced. And if
okay,
you
let
go
me
to advanced, it says record separate participant audio files.
okay, I see what happened. You are correct. Now I have it. All right. Thank you.
That's
I
where
was
you
like,
get us separate audio files.
yep, I see what happened. They have tabs across the top. This is why I came to here to embarrassingly on YouTube ask my stupid questions.
But but uh, what was said earlier, it will record either the gallery view or active speaker or the ones you have spotlighted as the
Right.
recording, which is very different to cloud recording.
So what I usually do is I usually cloud record with everything checked so it just has
Correct.
everything. And then
Correct.
I bring in 2 or 3 other meetings and I record each of those in a different way as the backup locally. But trying to explain that to people who are not set up to do what I do, I was completely flummoxed as to where to find it. And now I know what my mistake was. Thank you.
So
I,
Lewis was correct in terms of recording separate participant audio files. That's correct in the local recording, but the actual video recording depends on gallery view or spotlight or whatever
Right.
you have on your computer.
Yeah, I got that. And now I found the thing I could not find. I was clicking everything and couldn't find it. I clearly wasn't clicking everything because I now have found it.
what does the cloud recording record? I mean, you set that, it doesn't follow the host view, does it?
So the cloud recording, if you go into that thing, you can choose to record active speaker, gallery view, and shared speaker separately. So it will literally record anything that you have a checkbox next to. So it records all of that. So you can go into the cloud recording and grab whatever you want. The
But that's
local,
I'm not
depend on,
seeing where it says,
it's in the portal, Lewis, and you have
so
to
it's
do that
not in
settings in the
my
portal.
Zoom workplace.
right.
You have to set
Remind
it
me
in the
how I get
portal.
to the portal again?
us.zoom, you log in.
Oh, you have to go through a browser to do it. Because I thought there
That's
was
the
a
portal.
button
There
No,
is
on
no,
a
no.
here.
way to do it. It's just so complicated, to be honest with
It
you.
used to be real simple.
Used to be super simple, and now it's not. Now I think you have to.
Lois, if you go up to your icon where you see
Are you
your
talking
icon
about in the meeting or in the program?
in the actual main workplace program,
Okay, I've got my icon.
click
I
up
open
there.
that. Mhm.
Yeah, and there is a way to go from there to, and again, this is assuming that everything's the same between the two platforms, which I believe it is. So if you go up to your icon, then you can actually go to where is it? Profile. And I believe my profile will take you there.
Oh, that's bizarre.
That is like, and it just brings you to
That
the
is
sign up sheet,
bizarre.
sign up page. It's like,
Oh, and now it's going to ask me for my phone number.
mhm.
So you have to sign in even though you're already signed in.
Yeah.
I don't really like that. I liked it better the other way.
You signed into the app, but you're not signed into the portal. You could be signing into a portal with a different account,
Yeah.
but you're joining a meeting with the client with a different set of login accounts.
I wish it was a little more intuitive because if you're streamlining for regular people, like there's no way to get there with like we had to do that is not intuitive to go. Let me just go to my profile and which one of my picture? Maybe it's in here somewhere. Like it should just be like back end controls here, and then I don't mind if you have to sign in, fine, whatever. But I feel like you're pushing me to use the portal to use the meeting, but you can't do anything in the meeting anymore to have control easily. To me, that should just be a little easier.
Yep.
So
No, that's fair.
Zoom Test Kitchen is gonna be. Let's see what we're gonna stumble into this week.
Right. Right.
Yeah, we're
I
stumbling.
mean,
Mr.
and
Franklin.
listen,
Oh,
I
go
feel like
ahead.
I'm complaining, but I love Zoom so much that I just want it. I want other people to love it, and then when I bring it to other people, to lay people, more lay people than me, then it is really complicated trying to explain it to them. And then even for me, who spends inordinate amounts, I am on Zoom for 14 hours a day. Like I am a like super Zoomer. So for me to have to try to explain that to other people and it not be intuitive and it not be intuitive to me who really hangs out here and like lives in this space more than in real life, I just wish that were a little simpler.
I think Ray's got his hand up.
Mr. Franklin, come on in.
On John's comment, I also make the process of recording everything to the cloud And I don't ask anybody to try to find it there. I download it to a Google Drive. I sort out the things that to share with people. I may make 2 or 3 folders and share this folder with everything to some people and this with just what they need in others. I try not to ask anybody to go look for any content.
Yeah, that's very, very, yeah, good practice, right? Good
And
practice.
as John said, you can, once you have downloaded it, then delete it, remembering that it's still going to stay there for 30 days in the deleted column. So you haven't lost it. But, and that gives you a certain amount of confidence that, you're not in any trouble. And then the lay people, as you described them, are not fishing around for something, assuming it's some sort of a folder, you share information with them regularly outside of Zoom. That's what I found most efficient.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Tamara.
So one question about that, because I brought that up into a meeting with them. I said, because they said, well, my Zoom gets too full. And I said, well, here's a fun fact. You can just delete it and then it will be there for 30 days and it gives you just a little more time to download it. And they told me, they're like, no, I have to delete it and empty my trash in order for it to give me space back. Is that your experience, or is that just they don't understand it?
No, they don't understand it.
Yeah, that is, yeah. As far as I understand, even though it's not a published thing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Officially, yeah. So
that's what I thought.
The storage base right now, the number on the server based on your storage limit is based on what's not in trash.
Yeah, they were swearing to me that it was like, no, it won't even free up that space until I empty the trash. And I was like, I don't think so, but I'm going to ask.
Yeah. As far as we know, that is currently the case. Of course, they may change this at their leisure.
Anytime.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right.
So it's one of those loopholes that you learn only here on the Zoom Test Kitchen. But yes, in theory, you should be, Zoom would like you to make sure that you empty your trash, because they don't want to hold on to anything and pay for that extra free trash storage on your account. But right now, they would rather it sit in trash than you actually call into support going, oh, well, I accidentally deleted this meeting or that meeting. And, oh, did you check your trash? Would be the first comment that the support people will do. Right. So, yeah. Oh, it's been longer than 30 days. Oh, then it comes, I don't know if we can help you scenario. I don't know what the official policy is above 30 days is. If you do do that, yeah, I'm pretty much sure that you're right. That it's you're out of luck. So Tamara, have we finished talking about recordings?
You have. Thank you. I didn't mean to take this much time, but thank you for going through that.
No issues. We do have another question. Actually, we have a couple questions coming in. That's excellent. Way to go, YouTube. Okay, Ken, this is from Real F. Donald, and this is Florence from Office Hours is asking, can the panel explain which licenses are required to get access to Production Studio? Zoom Webinar, Zoom Webinar Plus, or something else? I have a Zoom business account. This one is actually fairly easy.
Oh, I know
and
that
I'll
one.
throw it over to, I'll throw it over to the person that has OBS right now currently, Lord Zoom.
I'm going to pass this over to Tamara because she can show her skills.
Tamara knows. She's got Production Studio.
In order to get Zoom Production Studio, you need to have a Webinar Plus license or a Zoom Events license. And how many of us do it is we do a license for 50 participants for $100 a year. And that gives you access to all of those things, but it is a Webinar Plus license. And you do have to have a pro account or higher. So your business account is fine. You'll set up a Zoom sessions license or a Zoom webinar, a Webinar Plus, which we keep calling sessions because it's near and dear to our heart, but it's really a pay per attendee license. And then you would use it through your Webinar Plus or your Zoom events portal. And then any of the liminal apps as an added bonus, which is why we use it. Zoom OSC, Zoom ISO, Zoom Tiles, all of those are kind of wrapped in that. You can use those other things in your regular business account, but you just have to tie that account to your hub. And then those licenses are activated. Did I do it? Did I make it?
You did well.
I can't do the easy stuff. It's the more difficult stuff.
That's it, Tamara. That's good. No, but see, Tamara's asked this question multiple times on Zoom Test Kitchen, and she now gets it.
I have learned.
That's right. John, she did well, correct?
Oh, that was a fantastic answer. In fact, the only thing I can think of that she didn't mention, although she did sort of mention it, Production Studio doesn't work outside Zoom Webinars Plus.
Yeah.
All the other tools, as she correctly said, you can use at all levels once you've got that, but you can't use Production Studio unless it's an events or a Webinar Plus event.
Right. And Florence, if you have any follow-up questions, if that made sense, great. If not, let us know in chat and we will get back to that. All right. Then we have another question here. Is there a difference between a Zoom Pro account and a business account when it comes to these recording options? Okay, that's back to Tamara and John. I'll throw that. Let's have Tamara try that one more time since she's doing good on the recording. Go for it, Tamara.
No, there actually isn't between your pro and your business account. They're exactly the same. The biggest change from the pro account to the business account are things like you have a larger meeting size. You have, I think, 300 people instead of 100 people. And, so those are and I think you have like whiteboards and more of the other tools that I've only just started getting into. But it doesn't change your the way that you can record. You just have to be able to find them, like I wasn't able to do, but I can now. So hit me up. I can show you.
Excellent. So actually, since we're still talking a little bit about recordings, while we wait for another question to come from the YouTube audience, let's talk about what tools are we using as we download the infamous Zoom recordings. What are we editing our recordings with? Let me throw that little toy out there for everybody to put their stamp on. What is everybody's favorite tool of choice to edit their Zoom recordings?
QuickTime for video and Amadeus for audio.
DaVinci Resolve is my choice, and the free version is perfect. It's easy to do, but I have the Studio because I have some more demands. But it's great. You can put them all in and just deal with it like it's a live TV show, selecting cameras and.
If you are not an editor, I would suggest something like Descript.
Descript is good.
It will give you. So I started editing on Riverside as I was doing recordings for some podcast stuff that I was hired to do. I am not an editor. I can edit audio. Editing video is not my thing. So I was using their editor for a while. I didn't love it because I had a problem getting granular with the audio, which I can do. And so I switched to Descript, and I've now taught myself a lot. So I'm now running into where I have just moved over to DaVinci, and I'm learning DaVinci. So if you're just starting out, something like Descript where that you can do text editing is, and they've got some interesting tools. I don't like their AI tools as much as I like Riverside's AI tools because they cost a lot of money. And at the point where you need those tools, you can just teach yourself how to do the rest of the editing. So if you're just starting out, Descript is great. But I agree, the free version of DaVinci it's a little bit of a harder learn, but I think it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, go ahead, Lois.
One of the questions is, what do you mean when you say editing? In other words, if I've got something and I just need to trim the tips and the tails, or maybe there's a little bit in there and I just need to cut that part out, but it's not taking this and overlaying with that, and it's not splitting up the video and the audio. It's just little trims, and that the on the Mac there's a thing called lossless cut. And it's a wonderful thing. It used to just do the tails, but they updated it a few years ago, and now you can trim out the middles too. It's sort of like if you're on YouTube and you've got something up there, you can cut things out. You can't do lots of major editing, but you can snip things a little bit.
Canva has
Right.
also added video editing now.
Which
And
one?
I don't find Canva,
Ah.
and I don't find it as intuitive.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
I've done it.
I'm trying to learn the Canva, but I've already got DaVinci, and I've tried to Descript. I use Descript especially for cleaning up audio. It's as good as
Yeah.
any.
And you can get pretty granular in Descript, to be honest with you. So I switched over to that last month. I feel like we should talk about, if you're just doing the head of your video, you can use Zoom editing. Like they will, if it's just that, like you started your meeting and you ended up, you wanted to make sure you recorded, so you've got like 15 minutes of people doing nothing or whatever, and you want to start it at a certain point. You can do that in Zoom. I feel like we should mention that because we're the kitchen. I download it, but I think that I think that tool is there, and I think that's not necessarily a bad tool if it's just like the tops that you need to cut off.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Very good, gang. Very good.
So, John, you were going like this. What were you trying to say you didn't like?
I'm planning the death of Riverside.
You're
I'm
doing
right
what?
there. So yes.
Uh-oh. Tell us more, John. Go for it. You open the can. Let's see the worms.
Let's just say, how can I say this politely? Let's just say that Zoom's got a lot on its plate, and I'm getting frustrated with the options and the functions that can't come out in time. In fact, my 2026 is actually to discourage Zoom from making their product any better, because I think we need to now put some power into third-party people to make tools to work in Zoom better.
I'd be happy to beta test for you.
That way they could develop things far quicker than Zoom. Zoom's got a 2000 plus API. There's amazing things that can be done with it. In fact, just to take what Lois was talking about and what you were talking about, Tamara, about the use of recordings, there are, I don't know what adjective to use. There are loads of apps out there which take recordings out of Zoom and put it into other systems. The corporates are using this extensively. They're taking it all out. They've got some big AI plan of how their corporate world's going to work. So they take all their meetings and all their recordings that they put in Zoom. They take them out of Zoom and they crunch them into their AI system so they can create all these support systems and knowledge bases, all based on the meetings and the webinars, etc., that they run in Zoom. There is an awfully large industry now working on that type of technology, and I think there's going to be some really exciting things coming from that. Yeah, definitely this year, 2026, this new coming year.
I agree, and I would love to do everything. I mean, I complain about a lot of stuff, but I would genuinely love to do everything in Zoom and not have any other tools on my subscription list. And I'd be willing, and I do pay for it. I pay for a lot of Zoom accounts for a layperson. So I would love for Zoom to be able to be the place that I just go to and not have to deal with everything else. Now, I know different studios that I work with have different agreements with different things, and it makes me crazy when I go somewhere and they're like, we're teams. And I'm like, I don't think I want to work for you. Like,
Yes. Yes, that was the conversation.
Has anyone ever heard of a Teams equivalent of Zoom Test Kitchen?
A Teams equivalent of Zoom Test Kitchen? No.
I own the URL.
You what, Ray?
I own the URL. Teams
What's it called?
Test Kitchen.
Teams Toilet.
Test Kitchen.
It's an
That counts.
And
awesome
when somebody
alliteration.
goes there, it says, sorry, you should go use Zoom.
For a price, I'll rent it to them.
Hilarious. What you should actually do, Ray, until further notice, is just redirect Teams Test Kitchen and redirect it to our zoomtestkitchen.com. That would actually be very funny. That would be very, very cool. Okay, so Florence actually has another question for us, and it's related to business account. Is there a way in that the Zoom business account can get the Q&A box? And she clarified, I want attendees to add questions in the Q&A box while the meeting is taking place in a breakout room, okay, being specific there, rather than the main room. Couple things there. So A, the Q&A functionality. B, she wants Q&A functionality in a breakout room. Panelists.
Never heard of that.
Me too.
I feel you have Q&A. I can't, I'm looking for it now to see if it's true, but I feel like you do have Q&A in a business account for a regular meeting. I don't know that there's Q&A in any breakout rooms on any level, but maybe there is at the webinar level.
So
I don't know it enough.
we're in a meeting. We don't have a Q&A. We just have chat.
Correct. And
You do have to turn it on.
Is that a choice or is that a meeting thing?
that is a good question. And I am
Set
a
it up.
co-host.
John
let
is
me-
going to test it, he says.
All right.
Yeah, at the moment it says the host has turned off Q&A. So have a look in the host modes
Yeah.
and the host controls. I'm
Yeah,
just
Ray,
gonna
you're
I
a
think
host.
it's I think it's in the creation of the meeting
Yes.
control.
Well, you could change it here in the host control, but it's a separate tool, and you really want to have one or the other. Getting the two of them confused, people are so confused about putting in a question, who gets to put in a question, who gets to take the polls. I prefer to keep it in chat and have somebody curate it.
I think if you teach it, so when I've used questions in there, I've done it for a very specific reason so that I could just separate them out. I've got too many people in the chat chatting. But you have to kind of, as part of your hosting, is to do a little instruction time. Be like, hey, there's two things at the bottom. There's a chat and there's a Q&A. Did everybody see that? Great. It's the same way as if you said put a Q in front of your question for chat. You just have to kind of make that part of your invitation in the beginning of how people are going to participate in your meeting, if you're not going to have like a tech time beforehand to tell them how to do that. But I think you can do it. It does have to be set up on the back end, but I think you can do it even at the pro account level in the meeting. So I think in the business account, I don't know if anybody else, I use breakout rooms a lot, and I don't know if you can do that in a breakout room now.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the breakout room one was definitely, I made sure when I read that, I went, oh, Florence is wanting it in the breakout room too. And it was like,
Well,
that
I
one-
think
Mhm.
that a lot of people want to have a waiting room, not a waiting room, a parlor, a place where people show up, and then they go into the meeting hall to have the program. And so the way we do it normally in a meeting is they come into the main meeting, and then the breakout room is where they have the program. But since the breakout rooms don't have as much capability as the main room does, I'm wondering if there isn't another way to do that. Is there a way to have a separate meeting that people come into, and then you move them seamlessly into the main meeting, and it's a meeting, not a breakout room? Is there a way to get someone from meeting 1 to meeting 2 without them having to do anything?
Right. The official answer from Zoom, guaranteed, will be
No.
please use our Zoom events platform. Which you
Well-
you log into the lobby, and then you go from the lobby, you go into the meeting.
Well, wait. You can now, from the waiting room, take someone and assign them directly to a breakout room. And when they enter, they can go straight to the breakout room. They bypass the lobby.
correct.
So that's not what I was talking about, though. I was
Okay.
talking about from one meeting to another meeting. The only way
Oh,
I
yeah,
can
no.
think of is put something in the chat and say, now click that button and I'll see you in the main presentation room. but they are leaving one meeting and going to a different meeting, and that can be confusing.
Yeah, when I've done that, Lois, I've done a dashboard for people. And then I put buttons to one meeting and buttons to the other meeting. And so that's basically what I've done if I've gone meeting to meeting. Now I tend to use my main meeting as the lobby, and I use the breakout rooms as the theater, and I send them to the theater.
Have you found that there's anything that you can't do in the breakout room which causes you problems? Because I know you can't do the same things.
I think the only thing that you can't do, because you can still chat in the breakout rooms, it takes your chat with you. So if you're chatting in the breakout rooms, it's still there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I can't do Q&A, but I have also done what I have done is similar to what office hours did in the dawn of time. Is I've taken one separate meeting A, and I've broadcast that into the breakout room of meeting B. So I've had some of my controls, like in terms of presentation stuff, I've done that because I've done like an audition event where I take one and I use it. I've done it myself with an ATEM, and then I smartly brought JJ in who did it with a Zoom room. And he broadcasted in from, he had 6 computers in there. So he's much smarter than I, and was able to do it that way. So sometimes I do presentations that way because that maintains that, it gives me the feel of a meeting with the ability to have kind of that webinar feel where no one could technically go on stage to ruin someone else's experience because I'm projecting what they're seeing.
So when you say that you're projecting from Zoom meeting A to Zoom meeting B, how are you doing that? Are you just having it be a participant and then you spotlight them, or how are you doing
So
that?
I have done it, the way I did it is I had all of the other, I had a Zoom meeting on computer A, and I had computer A into my ATEM, and my ATEM machine was a participant in Zoom. So when I was spotlighting that machine, I could be bringing in the meeting with my ATEM. I could just switch to my ATEM. You have to really play around. Like the sound is an issue. There's like a lot more complications. I did it in the most down and dirty way when I did it myself. When I brought JJ in, obviously he was able to do way more than I could. So there is obviously, as with all things Zoom, there's a way to scale from what we do just in the meeting all the way up to production level. And now I'm not sure that if I were to do something like that, I wouldn't play around, which I have done. I've played around with using Webinar so I could use their production tools and bringing people either into the backstage as an audience where they were watching on a big screen. It takes a little bit of instruction, or just promoting everybody to panel. So I've played around with that to get more of a meeting like feeling, because some people like meetings. But so there's like a variable scale of how you can produce in Zoom.
Yeah.
Hey, John, how'd it go? He took off and tried something, huh?
And he's
Yeah,
bright
I
and
went
shiny.
to my other machine, one of my other machines that's running business, and I can't see polls and I can't see
Yeah.
Q&A when I'm in a breakout room. As you said, chat goes with you. So whatever chat you had before you had the breakout room follows you in, and then any chat you have in the breakout room follows you out, and that's your own personal chat. And that could be different to anybody else's experience, depending if they were in the same breakout rooms as you, et cetera, et cetera.
And I
But
think
there's no polls and there's no Q&A.
Yeah, so for Q&A, I would do that in the chat and just say put a Q in front of it. For polls, I might do that as a slide and a share.
Yeah.
You know.
And Ronnie actually, hello, Ronnie on YouTube was actually suggesting that Florence actually bring everybody in to a break room automatically from the waiting room, like Tamara was talking about. And then from the breakout room, so that will be your lobby then, is a breakout room. So going opposite. So you're bringing everybody into a breakout
that's
room as a
smart.
lobby. And then when you're from there, you're putting them back into there. And now you can have your Q&A and polls and such. Go ahead, John.
In the main room.
In the main room.
Are you automating that going when they come to the waiting room, they automatically get put in a particular breakout room? Or is that something that has to manually be done for each person?
That's a good question.
I think you'd have to manually do it. Like I always have a door monitor, just like in the third grade.
I'm working on automating it.
I was going to say, but Lord Zoom could probably do it in
I-
a
And
different
if
way.
they're
totally agree with you.
registered, if they're
So there's-
registered in advance, you can assign them to the
Yes.
room. But if they're a drop in, you have to move them.
Yeah. So you can have a policy where you may have the people that you know, the regular people, and you will put them in one place, and the people who are guests who you don't know, and this is quite applicable to Toastmasters, where we're always trying to get guests to join us for learning about public speaking. Just to plug there. Though you can drop them into another room where you can speak to them and make sure they're a person you do want in your meeting and they won't disrupt your meeting. And as Ray says, you can already automate that to a certain level. If you've got pre-registration, you've got some control there. But I was looking at the Zoom API. I may even run a training on this because I'm being asked with my arm twisted behind my back to do some videos about some of the things you can do in apps to encourage others to do this. But it is possible from a software point of view that if people have registered, I can, as an app, sit there and I can see who they are that registered, and then I could automate certain people with who I know will go a certain place, and the people that I don't know will be sent to another breakout room where they may be questioned.
John,
Yeah,
what you
Ray.
did here was rude to Hasmith, who's just recovering from shoulder surgery. Please.
Sorry for the flashback, Hasma.
So can someone show us by a share screen or however, how you take someone out of the waiting room and move them into a breakout room? Now, that
Oh,
means we're
that's
going to have to create a breakout room and have someone in the waiting room, but can we do
actually it's really easy.
that? Okay.
All you need to do is have a breakout room set up. And if somebody's in the waiting room, you can allocate them to a breakout room of your choice. So, when you create a breakout room without assigning everybody automatically, you've got the option to go and put anybody where you want.
Right.
You can manual
Well,
assign.
Yeah, manual assign. Well, you can actually manual assign somebody who's in the waiting room, just the same as if they were in the room with us now.
So you go to the participants list and you highlight their three dots and you say move to, or you drag them from one place to another place.
No,
or
you
how do
you
do it?
go to the breakout room. You
Yeah.
go to your breakout room settings where you allocate everybody manually, and you choose the breakout room you want them to go into, and then you select put them into that breakout room.
So you're saying
Just like
that
you would allocate
the
everybody
list of
else.
people, when you're looking at breakout rooms, the list of people unassigned will include the people in the waiting room? Is that what I'm
Yes.
hearing?
Yes.
Oh, right.
It
I've
will
never
be
seen that.
waiting. It'll be waiting room and then unassigned. And those waiting room people will also have a little box where you can assign them to where you want them to go.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
All
really
right.
cool.
So nothing
I'm gonna want to
happens.
play with that.
Yeah, nothing happens at that point, Lois. You have to then admit them in from the
Right.
waiting room. And when you admit them in from the waiting room, Zoom sees that you've already allocated them to a breakout room. So instead of them coming into the main room, they automatically get sent straight into that breakout room.
So you don't do that from the breakout room window? You
You
do
allocate
assignment
them.
from them, and then you have to go out back to
Yes.
participants and find them and let them in?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is
Yeah.
2 steps.
You
And
might
that means,
want to
of
make
course, you
sure
don't.
you have someone in that room to tell them what the heck is going on.
Yeah. And also, that means you don't have to bring all your waiting room people in at the same time and put them all into that room. You could do them one at a time.
Yeah.
Mhm. Hey,
Hasmith,
Hasmith.
go ahead.
Is it not true that when you set the meeting, you have to have a setting that says ask the people who join permission to move them to a waiting room?
No,
Really?
I don't think so. You have to ask them permission to mute and unmute, but I've never seen one for move to waiting room.
When you
Okay.
when you set up a breakout room, you've got the option in the breakout room settings
Hmm.
to send them automatically or for them to do it themselves. So in other words, you say, Hazmat, please go to breakout room 1, and you have to confirm that's what you're talking about, and that is correct. But that's in the breakout room settings for breakout rooms. In most cases, I don't give them the choice. I just get them all to move at once. Otherwise, they'll hang around for 15 seconds wondering what's going on and thinking everything's broken. So I always get them to be moved automatically.
Yeah, it's called assign automatically, I think, because I
Yeah.
do that with all of them. And then they don't get a join, they just go. They just magically.
And I have it set so they can't come back out.
The things
That's a
may
very
have
good point, because if you are evaluating people, sorry, Hazmat, if you're evaluating people for whether they are good, the one thing you don't want them to do is to go into that breakout room and then go back to get into the main room without you deciding whether you want them there or not. Good point.
Yeah. Things may have changed, but I'll test it again. I can't do what John did, go to another machine right now. I just have one machine here at home. Um, I think if a person is moved to a waiting room and they themselves elect to move, not a waiting from a breakout room, if they themselves elect to move from the breakout room to, let's say, the main room, then as a host or a co-host, you can't move them back into the breakout room. They have to give you permission to do that.
No. But what is true is that you should always set up an extra breakout meeting, because a breakout room, one that is just called tech or something else. Because if someone moves from the breakout room into the main meeting, you won't be able to move them back in, because oftentimes because it ends up ghosting as though they're already there. So the workaround is to like throw them into your tech room and then move them from that room into the thing. I suppose you could probably put them back into a waiting room and move them in, but they have to have a separate. I don't know why that is, but that is what often happens.
And the decision as to whether people are allowed to move themselves out of the breakout room back to the main room, that's something that you make, I believe, as you create the breakout rooms. Isn't that right, John? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
in the options. That's correct, Lois.
so if you put me in a breakout room and you have turned off that option for me, I can still leave the meeting. You can't keep me there, but you can make sure that I don't move myself to any place else.
Right.
Very good. Very good. Excellent.
It is, I guess,
That's my
clear
question.
as no. It's a bit
It's
clear
clear.
as
It's
mud
clear as
for me.
mud. Oh no.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So no. One obviously has to play with it and figure that out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That one is a bit of a trial and error.
Can't we
We
just
have a
turn on
breakout.
some
We
breakout
have a
rooms
we have a
now?
breakout room running now. If you want to do some testing,
There's also, when you set the meeting up, you go to set up a breakout room. There's actually two screens of places you can do things. So when you go to set the breakout room up, the main thing lets you set the number of rooms. And then if you go into that settings wheel at the bottom, I'm assuming it's still at the bottom, it gives you all these other options. And those other options are where you can click self-select, or you can click what kind of room it is, and then you can also, how many minutes do you want the room to be open, how many seconds do you want it to close afterwards. And in that menu is the one that has the allow participants to rejoin the meeting, the main room.
So if you made Hasmak a co-host, he could then try opening breakout rooms and changing settings and things. Yes?
Do it.
Do it. Do it. You want to break
Yes.
things?
You'll have to close the breakout rooms that are currently open.
Yeah. Husband, go ahead. You have co-host. Enjoy. The one question I do have for the people that use breakout rooms recently is that, did the new version of the chat follow into the breakout rooms?
Your personal chat follows the person. So if
Yeah.
I'm in this meeting, I'm seeing this chat. If I go to some other place, a breakout room, I see whatever is in that chat. And when I come back, wherever I am, that's the chat I get.
Right. The reason I was asking this is that when they implemented the new flavoring of chat where we have tabs at the top where we have you could actually have everyone and plus you have all the other people you're having private chats with,
Mhm.
is that format updated and now brought into the breakout rooms? Because when they initially launched that, it wasn't. It was still the old fashioned flavoring of chat. And I'm
I
gonna go back to
believe
John for sure on that one, depending on if he has more updated info and know what I'm talking about.
No, I want Hazmat to chuck you in a waiting room so you can find out yourself. That's what I'm
Oh, you
looking
want me
forward
to go in there by myself? Okay.
But
Send me on that.
there's no breakout rooms. I can't get into anything.
because Hasmic
Oh,
hasn't
I
created one,
can,
He
I
hasn't
can,
created them yet.
or
I
he's
can,
created a
I
closed one.
can put, oh,
Send us
Open
in and I'll
breakout
try it.
rooms.
Well,
shall we put Mike in there?
But just open the breakout
Oh,
rooms and then we can
It is
see it.
open.
Breakout
And
rooms are open.
They are
There's a
open.
where?
breakout room
They're
open
okay.
now.
They just showed up. All right.
all right,
And
I'm
you
gonna
can't
go.
put Mike in there because he's the host.
Right,
A
I'm gonna
co-host
go
can
in there.
co-host. Yeah, I'm co-host. So
Who's
Oh,
host?
somebody-
Oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Bye.
Ray's officially host right now. Okay, so we got a couple of our panelists running in there, so somebody will get me the answer here momentarily. But I am curious, John, because that was a big thing that did change when they did the initial launch. They forgot. I don't know if they forgot or what that was. Oh, and John also ran. So half of our panelists are all gone. Only the host and co-hosts are now here. So Hasmuth, where are you learning? I'll pick on you until everybody comes back from
And
the
he
rooms.
and he was
And
gone too.
and he ran too. Okay, so it's only Ray.
Roland's here. You got to remember. Hi, Roland.
It's the old
I'm
style.
not forgetting you.
Oh, okay. So John came back, and the answer is it's still the old style. Okay. I was wondering. Again, I don't use breakout rooms enough, but I do remember that tidbit being not an issue necessarily, but it is different because, again, depending on if you have, so the everyone chat will probably move, John, correct? But will the private chats move? Because I don't think.
Yes, we tried it out. The private chats move, but they're interspersed with the general chat like it used to be. So I look down here and I see I have Tamara Pika to you direct message, but I don't have that separate tab at the top because this
Okay.
happened in the chat.
Okay.
I'm going to go
so
back in and I'll see you in a little bit if I can figure
All
out how
right.
to.
All right, Lois is going to go back and check that. So yeah, so basically, so that was my question too, is if you have a private chat with someone in the new version, of course it's a tab, but in the old version, it's combined. So the answer that Lois told us is that she had it as combined. And Tamara, you see
Yes.
the same results?
It's the old client on the inside, but the meeting, your chat does follow you.
Right.
in.
Okay. Cool. I remembered it. Now I thought that they maybe changed it, and I don't use it enough, but that was something that was brought up during Zoom Test Kitchen previously.
Yep. Tis true.
So we have now confirmed that the new form of chat with the tabs at the top doesn't show up the same way in breakout rooms, but all of your messages are there. I wish I could switch that back. Excuse me. I wish I could switch it back to the old style because with the new one with the tabs, either I see everyone or I see one person and I can't see both at the same time. So
I've had more times where I've made mistakes in in going into the wrong chat to respond with the new client, but I have a love-hate relationship with it because I really do love that especially if I'm in a meeting with millions and millions of people, or 50 people, and they're all chatting at the same time. and someone has direct messaged me and it's like way at the top. I love that it's pulled out, but the problem I have is that and this is user error, obviously. I click on that and I go to respond, and then I forget that that's the open chat, and then I go back and I try to respond to the group chat and I haven't switched back. Again, user error. Not
Yeah.
unsurprising.
Yeah, and again, that's fair, and that has actually been some of the complaints that I've heard as well.
But the answer, Lois, is to just make the breakout room be your main meeting room. If you don't need polls and quizzes, then everybody's forced into that old client. So there's a little for everybody here.
Well,
Right.
if you wanted to have a sequential chat with a person, you could in fact have a little breakout room with the two of you and do all your chats. And when you come back, it will be commingled with the main chats again.
Yeah, very true. All right. Okay, so YouTube, if you have any questions for us, obviously we're doing a good job today going through them. So if you do have any more questions for us, let us know. And we're testing them live, as you saw. Even my questions are getting tested live to make sure that we're keeping Zoom honest, I guess would be the right answer to say to that. And how certain, so again, Florence, going back to your breakout room scenario, so you would have a different chat in there with no polls or a QA, and as compared to the main room. So keep that in mind as well. So again, if you like the old school meeting, as long as you're not using Q&A and polls, you could, in theory, bring everybody into the main room and then move them over to a breakout room. Or as Ronnie was talking about, either way, bring them all into a breakout room because you want to have the new chat, Q&A and polls, then you would bring them from the breakout room into the main meeting room. But of course, Zoom.
I had never thought of that. And so thank you, Ronnie. That is a fantastic idea. And I think that it makes much more sense than the other way, because then you have all your capabilities in your main presentation room.
Right. And again, it also shows too that you have to be careful, keeping in mind, if you do use breakout rooms, that there is those certain limitations, right?
Mhm.
That's always important. Go ahead, Mr. Franklin.
I wondered if we could broach a subject. Has anybody tried the passkey login, and has it been successful?
Passkey
It's
login
been added,
to get,
yeah,
to get
into the workspace.
Is that a passkey on your Mac, or is this a passkey on Zoom?
It's a passkey entering into Zoom, which gets saved on your computer. It's now added. I'm just curious whether anybody's tried it. I haven't. I brought it a dead stop. I have a question I'd like to bring up, if you don't mind. I spend a lot of time coaching people on how to come across on the platforms that we're talking about. And I have an amazing number of YouTubers and other people that are doing LinkedIn promos, LinkedIn hour-long sessions, where they're either in a tiny box in the corner or they're not looking at the camera at all. Does that offend anybody? Is there something? My contention is, since most people are dealing with a webcam and not with a prompter, most people are dealing with a webcam, they have no idea what they look like. So they don't really care. But if it's a video, clients come to me to try to find out how to look at the audience. Is that a subject any of you face?
What do you think? Lois, go ahead.
So I think that having that little square in the corner or circle or whatever depends on what's in the main area of that square.
Right,
If
but
they're showing
have to make
something
better.
and if they're showing something and they have themselves here and they're looking at the main thing, doesn't bother me a little bit at all. If they're looking away from it, it just sort of feels disconnected. If they're looking straight at me, no problem. So I would say it depends.
I always
I try to go ahead, Tamara. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I always try to get people to record themselves so that they can see it because it's very hard for, one, if you're not used to it. Like I have a teleprompter, but right now I literally don't have anything in front of it. So I have no concept of what I'm looking at or what I'm not looking at. When I don't have a teleprompter, I have to go back through like all of my um like videos and like watch myself because and it's painful and horrible, but like that's how you become better at it because it's not natural, right? Where especially if they don't have a teleprompter or they're using a webcam or they're using their camera on their laptop, then they just don't know. And I think to be honest with you, to the average user, it's probably not offensive because we're all kind of used to being in Zoom and the average user is like we kind of still accept kind of messy behavior. But what I will say is that now people have been in more meetings where people do look and sound good. And so there is an expectation of when you're trying to sell something or you're trying to convince someone of something, then looking good and sounding good and showing up in a digital space in a way that isn't how you just show up to, it's like getting dressed in the morning, right? When you go to an event where you're going to a fancy dinner or you're going to pitch a project to someone, you're going to put on a certain amount, you're going to put on a better set of clothes, you're not going to like wear your pajamas. There's like just social norms, and I think there are digital social norms that even though we can't not even though the lowest user can't articulate them, it does make a difference. I guarantee you, anybody on this panel, if you go into a meeting, people notice you and they like pay attention to you more without even knowing why. And the reason why is because you look good and sound good. And so I think the average user doesn't really know that. And I like show them, like I will do the, quadruple chin test. I'm like, all right, I'm going to show you what happens if my camera is below me. No one looks good that way. If I just raise it up a little bit and tilt it forward, it looks better. So I think that one, people don't know, but two, it doesn't make a difference in consciously, but it absolutely makes a difference unconsciously. And so teaching people how to show up in digital spaces and be able to be seen and heard, even if it doesn't mean having a huge microphone in their face like I do, it's what everybody who wants to sell something needs to do.
Asmith, you had a question? Comment?
No, when I run these medical events, I mean, sometimes I have about 150 people that register for the event, and it's a paid for course, so but they have to sign T's and C's, and one of the T's and C's is they have to attend an orientation meeting. And in the orientation meeting, I spend about 20 minutes, just the basic concepts of looking good, sounding good. The most important thing is obviously audio and framing themselves and no virtual backgrounds. Those are the key things that I cover. But consequence to that is that both the talent, that means I have 22 medical lecturers coming in for the 3 days, and the audience, they all kind of express themselves, oh wow, that was a very immersive experience. I thought I was right in the middle of a meeting. And then I have to ask them, why do you think that was? And it's hard for them to give you an explanation why they had that experience. But the two things that they have to do in the T's and C's is, and I know I've had a bit of a stick on this, but I insist that the cameras are on and they have to attend the orientation meeting. So I used to do the orientation meeting myself, and it takes me a week to go through 10 or 15 of them at a time in a batch. It's painful, but it's really worth it in the end.
Great comments, Asma. Great comments. Back to you, Ray.
Well, the people that end up coming to me are people who understand it. And one of the things that I explain is that if you don't have a teleprompter, and they can be expensive, I have something that'll replace it. It's not as expensive as teleprompter, but please do this. This Post-it note is for sale. Well, I came out of broadcast television. And so I try to explain to people that when they're watching the evening news, God forbid anybody should do that anymore, but you're watching the evening news in the studio, they're just looking at a lens. Now, it used to be there's a cameraman holding it and two legs. Now there's no cameraman in the studio anymore. But there are millions of people watching that lens. And so it can be trained. It just is, it's a difficult thing for humans to understand.
Mhm.
But once you get your mind into it, you can look at when you're speaking, you look at the webcam. And when you're not, you can do whatever you want. But too many of these things, I've watched a number of LinkedIn workshops, whatever they call the live events, where there's panel meetings and they're just looking at each other's screen. It could be, from our standpoint as an audience, it could be a radio show, or it could be, remember the days when you sat around a conference room and the spider sound thing was in the center and everybody had it muted and everybody was doing whatever they wanted to do? That is what's going on now if there's not the kind of discipline that Hasmek is talking about. And it's just interesting. I'm getting ready to bring out a book and I'm trying to find the title of it because I don't want to offend people. But most people, I've discovered, most people just don't know, since their webcam is over there. And really, they want to just talk to you nice people.
So one of the things that I have found is most of the people that I deal with don't have those teleprompters. Most of them don't even know what a teleprompter is.
Right.
And so when I'm talking on this meeting to you all, I have to decide where I'm going to put everybody so that my camera, which is up there at the top of my computer screen, is close to whoever's going to be speaking. So that when I'm looking at it or I'm looking at her, you know, it isn't like I'm looking down here, but it's still not total eye contact unless I'm speaking to you and thinking about it. Otherwise, I'm watching these other people because I don't have a teleprompter.
It's called parallax. And the further you are away from your computer, the
Mhm.
better, because now, and I give it the comparison of the cell phone. This is where the camera is. And if you're looking at the people down here and you're this close, it's clear you're not looking at you're looking at the picture, you're not looking at the people. And so it's an interesting thing. I face it every day, and fortunately I've been having some success at it. But I have pretty well convinced myself that because people have a webcam, they don't know their shirt's not buttoned, their hair's not, they don't know. And if they don't know it, they're not going to come and pay me to help them teach
Well,
you how to do it.
I don't think that I would agree with you, Ray, because I've got a webcam and it's built into my computer. So I certainly can see myself. Um, I may not be
Most
seeing
people
myself
don't
when I'm
have,
talking.
but most people don't have a gallery. Most people aren't as sophisticated as you are, Lois. I
Do you
remember
use
the early
gallery view?
days. Yeah,
Ah,
it, they just aren't using it. They're using speaker view, or whatever comes up gets delivered to them.
yeah.
So
Actually, one of the things that I would encourage people, if they're coming into a meeting and the meeting hasn't started, I would say to everybody in the room, hey, did you know you can go to your own screen and you can pin yourself? You can see, oh, that big thing. Well, I guess I better, go ahead and do that. We got another 5 minutes before we get started. And it's amazing how much people can be surprised by what they look like when they actually look at themselves. Anyway, I think
thank you.
we've
We beat that horse.
beaten that bush. No, I don't beat horses. Bushes, maybe.
Yeah, no, that was good. That
John
was
was
good discussion.
experimenting with something. John, what were you experimenting with during this diatribe? Up.
This,
Okay, a mirror.
to many, would be seen as a teleprompter. It's a piece of wood with some lens splitting glass in the middle and some black cloth on the back. And that is my first teleprompter. So you put the camera in here behind the mirror. It's 70-30 glasses. So 70% of the light will be bounced down and 30% of it will go through. So the camera will see through here. It's hidden. It's in a black cloth because that way the glass becomes a mirror because there's nothing to see because it's black cloth. And then this bit goes down a lot further than I had it. And it sits like that at an angle. And you put a monitor into that shape there. And you have a teleprompter. And that was my first teleprompter. That cost me $140. And it was sent from the States. And thankfully, it didn't break on the way. And that was my first teleprompter. Elgato and all the others that are available didn't have teleprompters in those days. The only teleprompters you get are the broadcast industry, great big ones for TV. But if
in a TV studio, they're 20, 25 feet away from the camera, from the prompter. So the parallax is not an issue.
Yeah, it's the angle between the person that you're looking at, which is usually yourself, because most people are vain and they just look at themselves in the camera, and the angle from that to where the camera physically is. So one of the tricks I use is I say to people, I think that we need to get some sort of communication between us. And the only way I'm going to do that is to look into your eyes. Oh, sorry. The only way to do that is to look into your eyes. And immediately people will see the difference. And the other trick I use, which I shouldn't give you, but I'm going to give it to you anyhow, is there are times when you need to look at another screen because you need to access some information and it's not on your main screen. And you're thinking, well, how do I do that now without breaking eye contact? Well, let's face it. If I kept looking like this the whole time, then Tamara and Lois are going to get rather concerned and they're probably going to tell me to stop staring at them and slap me in the face because that's what you're perceiving. Even though we're thousands of miles away from each other, you're perceiving that somebody's staring at you all the time. And in real life, we don't do that. You go and think about things. And so what I do is I put my camera where I would go look if I was going to think. So I don't know. I know what I need to say. And I've just glanced at my notes or my PowerPoint slides or whatever information I had there. And just like when you look away, when you think about something, that's where I put my screen so that I can use my screen as my extra memory and I can look at that and I can turn back and go, and I bet if I'm really lucky, I can get Hazmak to laugh. And I know he's laughing because I just glanced down at the screen with a group view and saw him with a big smile on his face.
People who use teleprompter for the first time, now that they have the advantage of seeing themselves and seeing the other people, they wonder, well, what if I'm sharing a screen? Well, guess what? If you're sharing the screen, everybody's looking at it on their phone or what have you. So look at it. It's quite an interesting exercise to get people to not get so hooked on it. It's only when you're talking to it. Anyway,
you can always share your screen like this.
Well, and that's
and you can see I have some dates on my calendar, so please book me in.
Right. But that's part of the problem, because if you don't create the graphics in such a way that they can see it and you can still be part of it, I strongly suggest that even if they just do it in a fashion like this where they're sharing it, you got to consider that most of the graphics. I watched the YouTube, very well produced YouTube the other day. The first 7 minutes was a welcome graphic, and the two guys that were in it were in little tiny boxes. A lost experience, a lost example of holding your audience. And it just, there's a lot of work out there. I'm enjoying it. Thanks. Didn't mean to run it so long.
No problem, Ray. That was good.
And there are lots of apps, aren't there, that are now coming out in Zoom that allow you to do screen editing. You can use any of these apps that we use, these programs like, I'm worried if I start naming a few, I'm not going to remember them all. But anyhow, there's lots of programs from OBS free up to very expensive ones, which you can edit your content and your camera before it goes to Zoom, so you can make the layout look good. And of course, you mustn't forget to plug production studio, because that is, again, when you're at the higher level doing events, that is the simplest way to do some screen layouts, to muck around with the layout and presentations and make it look more interesting. Because the other thing that people will tell you in the film industry is it's really boring if the same talking head is in the same profile at the same distance away from you for the next 30 minutes. Because again, in the real world, we don't do that. And that's why I had this annoying habit of leaning into the camera and coming out to the camera, because people don't like it if you just stay in the same fixed mode all the time. They want some variation.
Absolutely. Lois.
Okay, so here's the situation. I don't have a separate studio. I've got my nice big screen, and it's a big screen because I do photography, so it's a nice big screen. And at the top of this, way up there, there's a hole. And yes, I have a little sticky around it with an eyeball painted on it so that I can know where I'm looking. Yes, good. But here's the problem. If I am in a meeting, and I always have it in gallery view so I can see you and I can see you, and where would I put a camera, even with that thing like you've got, Ray, in your background, or like Don showed us? Where would I put that so that I could still interact with the screen in front of me?
This is how you do it.
I don't,
You put
but
it.
I don't
you put it.
have two screens.
So you put one. You put it to the side of a
So
screen.
then I have to turn like this.
But only when you're talking do you have. That's the whole point. Only when you're talking do you have to look at the camera. You don't have to spend. I mean, you're going to spend the rest of the time looking. Oh, I'm looking the wrong way. You can spend the rest. You can spend the rest of the time doing this. It's only when you're talking. So let's not blow this out of proportion. This is a typical desk with two monitors. But if you had one, you just set it next to it. It shouldn't be that difficult.
I set mine, Lois, so that the camera is on I put the monitor either directly behind it or I put it slightly to the side. So if I only had one monitor, his view, and then I pull my Zoom screen over as far over as I can. So if you looked at the view where, because even with my teleprompter, it's in the middle. So I have to have a screen that is just slightly, my screen actually overlaps behind my monitor, behind my camera just a little bit. And I don't put anything on that side of the screen. But then when I'm in a meeting, I can pull that over. So it's not perfect, but it gives me a little bit of flexibility to look slightly to the side and then look forward. So that's what I do.
So I have built a little hanger thing that I can hang it over the top of the computer, and it comes down. It's right in the middle. Now I look at it, or I look at you guys. You can't really tell that I'm not looking at it, but then it covers up one of the squares, so I have to move the squares around until they're, and there's something that, and that's a lot of work. So I usually don't bother. So I'm hearing Ray say that unless I'm talking to you, when I should be looking up there if I'm talking to you, otherwise it doesn't really matter. Do you
Right, because you're just part of it.
No,
You're
but
part of a meeting like the rest of us are.
do you
If
find that it is disconcerting to see the tops of my eyelids instead of my eyes?
I don't know the context you're talking about. If
So-
you're not speaking, then you're not taking up the big screen for me.
Well,
I
okay,
have
well,
active
if
speaker up here.
I'm a panelist, there'll be 6 people on the panel and we'll all be on stage at once.
But only the ones that talking are going to be on if you
No.
choose active monitor. Yeah.
No, that's
I
not
put-
what they do it. No, that's
Okay.
yeah. It's the thing that is projected in that one image that
Putting-
going out to speaker is a collage of all of us.
Putting 10 people or 20 people or 50 people in a prompter monitor is ridiculous. I help people understand you can't comprehend it. You know what I look like. You don't need to look at me while you're talking.
I don't think I followed that. Did you follow that, Tamara?
I did follow it. I don't 100% agree. I do agree you can't put that many people in there, but I think that you have to remember we have control over a lot of things, but we don't have control over everyone's personal
That's right.
choices at home. So my personal choice might be to put the whole group in. My personal choice might be never look at gallery view. But I do understand what you're saying, Lois. I've had a really hard time learning how to use a teleprompter, just like I had a hard time learning how to use a camera and a microphone because I am an introvert. It does not seem like it, but it's work. And I had to like literally go through and rewatch videotapes to kind of go, oh, I didn't know I was doing that. I have to try to work on that. And I still find that it's not easy because it's not what I do. I'm a behind the scenes girl. I am not an on camera girl. So I do understand that like it's hard to know where to look. It's hard to know how you're going to be in a meeting. And I've had to kind of get to exactly what Ray is saying, which I do agree with, is that when you're not on camera, when you're not the one talking, then it's okay to like for me to like check over here to see that, to check something because I'm not the person who's talking. If I were to be like looking at my other screen while I'm talking to you, that's disturbing. But I think when you're talking, and that's not a natural thing for I would say 99.9% of the people.
No,
That's
it needs
it
training.
needs training. You really have to learn how to do it, and you also have to understand that in many meetings no one cares, and that's the part that I've had to as I learn more, I want to tell everybody else, hey, look, this is amazing. You can really be seen and heard in digital spaces and be comfortable and be authentic. And but in many, many meetings, I have to also weigh what I know is possible to what I know is expected. And you can still like slowly over time, I've upped the game to where, I have the same thing with that Hasmic does. I do one-on-ones for some of my events. I don't even let people participate as an actor without having 15 minutes with me where I can make your lighting in your little New York apartment look amazing based on that little tiny space. And I'm like, grab a desk lamp, grab this, put 4 boxes, tip your little clamshell forward, you're set. So I can make these little spaces look good no matter where people are in, but you have to take time to do that. And when you show people what's possible, most people will want to default to that. I always love when I spend time with these audition events and I have spent time with them. I got it set perfectly. And then they show up and they don't look as good because what they don't realize is that I have set up 200 other actors to be perfectly framed and to not have their backgrounds. And when they show up and they don't do it, you can tell right away. Even though no one, and what I hear from the casting director side afterwards is that was so lovely, like everything, and they can't articulate as an audience why it's better. They just know that their experience is better. And so trying to get lay people to do that when many meetings don't require it is a heavy lift, but totally worth it.
Yeah, and you and I, Tamara, are on the rundown on Thursday nights. And for the rest of you who aren't familiar with that, it's run. David Paskin has a situation where he makes it's sort of like tiles, but it's on his own computer.
He is Ecamm.
And so his one screen, his where his normally would be his face, he can change that. So all of a sudden it's the panel and it's, 4, 6, 7 people, whatever. And so his screen is always spotlighted or the screen. And when he moves to an individual, then I know, okay, I'm not on screen and I can do whatever I need to do and raise my hand or whatever. But in a situation like this one, I don't know what YouTube is seeing. I don't know if someone's back there highlighting different people or whether we're always in gallery view or if it's run by speaker. I don't know. So I never know if I'm on or off the air.
So you
All I heard
default
is that I
when
have
you're
a
speaking
situation.
to be on.
Look at that. He
David's
appears.
I heard I have a situation.
You have
That's
a
what I just heard Lois say.
Yeah.
David has a situation.
I said it was
And
Ecamm,
a
but
low microphone too.
And the low
It's like-
microphone because you're still on.
I know
for
I'm still on
musicians.
original sound because I'm not really here.
we talk about him and he appears. That's amazing.
You know,
Did we
he
say it
must
3
be
times,
listening to
though?
us all the time.
For the rundown, Lois, I pin David to
Yeah,
my
so do I.
screen and put that in my teleprompter, and I have the rest of us off to the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I just pin him, and then at the top of the screen are all the little ones. So, where that's good.
I'm just popping in to say hi because I'm listening.
Oh, so in other words, stop talking about David.
No, keep talking. That's fine.
Okay, so here's the question for this group. What is being viewed on YouTube?
Let's look.
Hey,
I know because
know
I'm
you
on.
know.
I know Lois was
I
picking
think
up.
it's
Mike,
gallery
tell
view.
me because I'm
Tell
the
me,
one
Mike.
monitoring. Purposely, what I've been doing right now is do an active speaker.
Oh, there you go.
So that means if I go, it switches off of somebody back to me, off to somebody. So we have to turn our microphones off when we're not talking.
And you should look
It
at
has-
the
it
camera when
has-
you're talking.
Yeah, it
Instead of
hasn't been.
what you just did.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad at this particular point in that regards. Again, when David's here more often, I'm doing a lot more spotlighting because David's usually showing things, and it would look weird to the broadcast audience, aka YouTube, for it to be cutting back and forth every time people were making comments as they're helping David break things.
And what
So-
did you say, Ray? I missed your comment.
What now? What I just don't understand why you need to know what's on YouTube. What you want to do is when you're speaking, you're looking at your camera. That's it. You don't need to get involved in any of that. But when you're speaking, and I'm not talking about being on I'm talking about talking to your webcam. When you're speaking, that's the habit to get into. And if you do it for 2 or 3 times, it becomes a habit.
Hasback,
It's
go
a
ahead.
challenge.
Yeah, I have a problem with Lewis's color of her digital hand, and John's as well. So
What's
was
your
make-
problem with my color?
shall we get into it? No. Um, I was made the co-host, so I can see a little banner coming up, whoever raises their hand. So I have that. But if the digital color of the color of my digital hand is quite orange. You know,
Yeah, you
it's
picked
kinda,
the yellow
I can
one.
see it. I can see it a mile away. The other colors were a little bit more lighter, a little paler, and they kind of hide in your frame, so it's hard for me to see it. And I thought that was quite interesting in a sense that
If-
because I'm co-host and I get this banner that Lewis, you've raised your hand, then I look at your frame and I say, oh, her hand is up. But if that banner wasn't there, I wouldn't notice your digital hand.
Well, it moves. It moves up to the corner when
I know,
someone's
I
behind
know,
you.
I know that.
So,
I'm,
are you asking me why I chose that color?
no, I'm just making a comment on the different color of hands.
I would prefer to have green or a bright blue or a purple, and I don't have those choices. And if I took a really, really dark hand, that's not me. That's cultural appropriation. I'm not Oriental. I shouldn't have yellow hand. I mean, it's like, so I just use the hand that's closest to my skin color, and I jump to the corner if I put my hand up.
You like when I put my hand up, I have it specific. I specifically kind of chose a darker blue behind me, and it fits. So
That's
I
right.
can change the color.
If I had a different background, it would look
Yeah.
different. You're right.
So, and where do you make the choice of those hands?
It's in. Go ahead, Lois.
No, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say it's in your settings,
Mm-hmm.
Hasback.
It's not
And-
letting us though.
It's not letting us.
I'm
Tell me
looking
more.
at it because normally you can choose your hand color when you just like put the little arrow up and you can choose, but it's not letting me choose, which is interesting. So mine is
Oh, I
set from
see.
my
Yeah.
personal settings.
Okay.
Yeah, they've tied it into the emoji and
G and reaction
skin tone.
skin tone.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the one that they, yes. I don't know if that's
mm,
new since 6.7,
mm, mm,
but it's been, that is the official, that
mm.
is what my skin tone is also
Yeah, yeah,
set
yeah.
at.
I mean, I understand if you put up your digital hand, you do move up at the top left corner. But for the untrained eye or somebody who's not aware of it, especially sometimes you have a talent or presenter, they can't see that somebody's put up their digital hand because they don't notice that somebody's moved to the top left. That was the only comment I wanted to make.
I also do this a lot.
I've
Or
called on
this.
Lois when she does that too. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Well, if I raise my digital hand and no one notices for a while, I'll do this. I mean, what other options do you have? I suppose I could use one of those reactions and
Okay.
do something.
Yeah. Hey, I'm here. Pick me. Right. Exactly. Exactly. So one quick comment that we actually have from Ron, he's watching us on YouTube and he's saying a feature request, and this is going back to breakout rooms. Feature request. Sometimes a breakout is created and for some reason needs to be ended early. Let's see if anybody's ran into that. Close breakout closes them. So close breakout, the actual button, close breakout closes them, but there's still the countdown at the end. An abort breakout option, please, is what he's requesting.
I
An abort
think
breakout.
so. You can set before, like I think it's set natively to 60 seconds, which is crazy. But you can change the seconds in that settings menu to be like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15
Or
seconds.
zero.
I was curious if anybody's tried putting it at 0 seconds.
Yes.
I've never tried.
Yes.
But you can actually change the timing. I think that is in
So-
the little, you go to set it up and then it's in the settings menu and it's on the bottom half. It'll say, time
then
before
that-
the meeting closes. Careful, because it's not the meeting close one that you want, or the time that the breakout room closes.
But when you do that and then you open the breakout rooms, that is now set for that session of breakout rooms.
Right.
I don't believe you can change that while the breakout rooms are open. I believe you can
Yeah, I
only
don't think
set
so.
that when you create the breakout rooms. Is that, anybody else
That
have
is-
other
That
experience?
is
Johnny, go
correct,
ahead.
Lois.
Yeah. You have to
That is
set it when
correct.
before you open the room. It has to be set.
Yeah. So you can set it at 0. And then if you want to give people time, like the breakout room, and then it'll close in 30 seconds. Well, you can just send them the message, your breakout room is closing in 30 seconds, the message from the host, and then 30 seconds later, push the button.
Yeah, I think the important thing that also Ron wants too is an abort breakout option, please.
Yes, I understand. But that would be a totally different thing. Now, here's a question. If you're really having trouble, when you push the panic button, does it close the breakout rooms as well as shutting down all of the activity for the participants?
Well,
Don't know that one.
that's a good one. Don't know that one is right. And I see lots of the panelists are doing this now. They're doing the
But we don't
And-
want to try it here, not right now.
No, we don't want to panic. We don't
Yeah.
want to panic. Pun intended.
For those of you listening who are on YouTube or whatever and may not know what we're talking about, in the host tools, which used to be the Shield, one of the things you can do is there's a red button that says, what does it say? Stop all participant activity or something like that. They don't make me co-host, so I can't look it up.
Yeah, I'm looking at keep going, Lois.
What's it
I'm
say?
looking.
What's it say, Mike?
Well, again, because of good old 6.7, they've changed things.
Oh
It's
my
all words.
goodness, you mean it's not there?
It's all words.
What's the bottom line, bottom
Oh.
thing in that list?
Yeah, one second. I'm just gonna actually, because of the wonderful 6.7, it makes itself a web page within, well, it makes itself look like an app, a marketplace app. So let me just go here. So there's officially lock meeting. Is that a
That's
panic?
not what we're talking about. No,
Right.
that just means
No,
nobody can come in.
click on participants, and then at the top there's a red. It says suspend participants' activities.
That's the word, suspend
the
participants' activity. And what
Yeah.
that does is it shuts down everybody's video, everybody's audio, and nobody can do anything. They can't rename themselves, they can't do anything. And that gives the host a chance to fix whatever the problem was. Usually it's somebody's bombing you with something. And so that's a very useful tool, but that's a very serious tool. In fact, we have an entire process that we came up with a couple of years ago as to what to do if you have to do that. And there was, you push the button, everything shuts down. Then the host opens her audio and says, "I'm sorry, we're having technical difficulties. We'll be with you in a moment." And meanwhile, the co-hosts are finding the bad guys and kicking them out, and you're locking the meeting so that they can't come back in. And then you allow the host and co-host to turn on their video and their audio, and then you work through that list in the used to be the shield, but you work through the list of what you're going to allow the remaining participants to do, and then you go, okay, well, that was interesting. Let's get back to business.
Yeah. So as Lois was saying, the shield officially icon is still there, but the shield used to be able to click on it and used to have your choices right beside the shield. Right now, as soon as you click on that, it now goes into the same spot where you usually have either participants or chat or whatever on your right hand side now. And it's all there's no checkboxes anymore. They're all those toggles now.
Okay. So Mike, I haven't had a chance to look at that yet. Could you make me a co-host so I could go and see what it looks
Absolutely.
like? Thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
Come on in, Lois. Join the hosts.
Join the hosts. Okay, and
So Lois is going to play with that. Yeah. So you'll see.
there's no shield
Yeah.
down there at all.
Yeah. What you have to do now, welcome to the world of 6.7 again.
Host
You have to
tools.
go-
Okay, I found it.
Yeah, you have to go into the more section,
Mhm.
and then you have to find your host tools. And if you want it to always be there, you have to move it, drag it from that over to your where you would like to have it, which probably if you like the old location is like I did, I put it on the old location. Because if you don't, it just actually puts itself right beside a bar, which is at the very end, right beside more.
Okay.
So at least
By the
this is on
way,
PC. Yes.
on that bar down there, the things that are currently running but are not in the dock permanently are to the right of a little tiny gray vertical line. If you
Correct.
drag it to the left of that little tiny gray vertical line, it will keep it in the dock.
Correct. And that's exactly what I was going to get at, Lois. Because again, if you do click on more and you click on something else there, it will replace it unless you dragged it over that line.
Oh boy, they made that buried, didn't they?
Yes,
Boy,
they
I mean,
yes, they did.
it used to be something bad's happening, click, and it all now you would have to take a bunch of time to get to it, to
Right.
even get to it. So
Yeah, again, John was helping me too because John was co-host, so that's why he was able to go, Mike, yeah, go over here, go over there. Because again, I'm not used to the host tools
mhm.
and
So
being
I'm
embedded
gonna
like that, like you
I'm
are.
going to recommend to everybody that if you have a meeting, you have a host, you have a co-host, depends on how big your meeting is, how many co-hosts you have. And one of those co-hosts always leaves this window open. And if anything bad happens, their job is to click that red suspend participant activities. That's my new advice.
Yeah, that's definitely, yeah. Again, it's part of Lois's checklist of running meetings. Yeah, I would definitely have that in there as well. as did they ever call it panic? I know we called it in the Zoom
No,
test
they
kitchen
didn't.
community.
They
We
didn't.
called it panic. Yeah.
No, they called it something else that I don't think it was suspend. Maybe it was, and but it was red, and we called it the panic button.
Yeah, no,
So
that's fair because it basically was that equivalent. And let me see here. And Ronnie was just mentioning too that he was saying that when we're talking about looking at cameras, he was saying you should always try to have the camera at eye level,
Mhm.
perfect, and or slightly below your nose. That way, the eyes look the best for the camera point of view. Place the displays to the side always. So I guess Lois, that was also reference if you only have one monitor, like you were
Yeah,
talking.
and I have a giant monitor, so it's really big. So in order to get that at eye level, I would have to, I don't know, put 5 or 6 cushions on my chair and raise myself up. Which I suppose I could do, but maybe I just
Yeah.
Zoom standing up. Nah, I'd get too tired.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was a
No,
good meeting. Everybody seems to be leaving, so I guess it's that time, huh?
not necessarily. Ron also has these. Ron has actually a comment for Lois. He says, "And Lois, that would put your head further up in the window instead of just peering over the edge."
I have a screen that you can maneuver.
And Ray actually, who's no longer a participant, is actually messaging us in chat, YouTube chat, saying, "Don't have the camera below eye level. The result is you are looking down at the audience." Interesting. That's
Interesting.
fair. That's fair because again, that actually comes across body language wise that you're not impressed with them or you don't want to be here or some sort of negativity. I like that, Ray. The looking down part. I like that.
Yeah. And I see, I've gone into chat and I see, oh, there's something in those little tabs at the top. Because I was just looking at the regular chat, but someone direct messaged me and it didn't show up in my regular chat. I have to go to a different one.
Right. Yeah. This is
Annoying,
the
annoying. Yeah.
yeah. So this is the infamous tabbed. Yeah. That even, Tamara was making the comments before where she was like, oh, did I actually? Yeah. You have to be careful now. The chat box in the YouTube workplace now in a meeting, you could be chatting with the wrong person, depending on your comments you're making. You have to be very,
Yeah.
very careful.
Well, more for me, more to the point is I miss talking with this person because they put it in a separate chat, and that was back 15, 20 minutes ago. And now they've left the room.
Right. And did you notice what happens to that chat? The chat is there.
Oh,
You
yeah,
notice
that's
that,
there. It's there.
but you notice now that that person, their picture is now gone.
The picture is no good.
So they're
I
before,
just got initials.
right. So if
Well, there would
like
have been a
Lois,
picture before? Okay.
right. So Lois, watch. I'll set up a private chat with you. Test.
There
Yeah,
he is. And it's
right. But
like
you
a
see,
tic-tac-toe thing with a C in
which
it.
is right, which is our corporate logo, right? But that's my icon, right? For
Okay.
when I connect to Zoom in my Zoom account, that's my. So now you'll notice that that person that sent you the message just has the initials now. That means they've gone.
Okay. Well, it was a good program today. I had fun. I hope you all did too.
Yep. Yep.
I'll see you
And
later.
take care, Lois. Have a
Yeah.
good weekend.
New Year.
And we'll
Don't
see you.
forget, New Year's.
That's right. And we'll see you in the new year.
We will. Or at least I will.
Take care, Lois. All right, YouTube audience, if you have any further questions for us, John, Roland, and I are still here to answer them, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can, as soon as I see them in chat. So let us know. All
Mike,
right.
do you have the URL for the Zoom, I mean for the YouTube thing? I was going to pop over there. See
Oh,
who's there.
sure. Sure.
You could put it in the chat.
I will put it in the chat for you. Absolutely. I'll put in our personal chat with you. How's that for you to play around in there too? How's that even better? There you go. Very cute. Take care, Lois. See you in the new year. All right. We're just waiting for our Zoom Test Kitchen community to give us a couple more questions before we wrap it up for this year's last one dish of 2025. Look at that. I get to see that too. Zoom Test Kitchen. How about that? I didn't actually take that into consideration. Even though it's Boxing Day, it's also the last Zoom Test Kitchen for 2025. So taking a look back at 2025, what has Zoom done? A lot. Do we like everything that they've done? Let us know on chat. Do you like everything that Zoom has done? Oh, and Lois is actually asking a question. How do I save the YouTube chat? Well, you can highlight all the you can highlight all the chat that is currently there, and then just copy and paste that into a text file or a document file. But as far as does YouTube have that functionality? No, not like Zoom does. You're welcome, Lois. Cool. All right. Mr. Drinkwater, Lord Zoom, have you departed on me? Quite possibly. Okay. All right. So I will, let's see, what else did I like Zoom doing this year? A lot of different things in the events section. I'm enjoying quite a lot when John and I do the production studio broadcasts every Tuesday, which will be coming back in 2026, coming soon. And I've been enjoying doing the production studio mixing of our show. That's been a lot of fun. It's not a vmix, it's not an ATEM, it's not a Grass Valley or an any expensive video switcher, but considering the content that John and I are doing, it works perfectly fine for us. Now, if we need to get more sophisticated, then of course the events platform also has that too, where worst comes to worst and we need something that comes in on its own separate broadcast feed. Again, because the events platform using the Webinars Plus and events has the capability of bringing in an RTMP feed. So at that particular point, the sky's the limit of any type of gear that is being used to send in things to production studio. But as far as the regular templates, could the rundown show that David does, where Lois was talking about the 8 boxes that he's using for Ecamm, could that easily be done in production studio? Yes. Yes, I believe there is an 8-box template, John, if I'm remembering correctly on that. I know there's a 9, but again, if there's a 9, then there's an 8. So you just have to fill in. That. See, I keep thinking that's me not being right on that either, which is, and this is something that we definitely have to teach everybody, and more things on the production studio side is that if you have a 9-box, you don't have to fill all 9 boxes, because the production studio is smart enough that in this case, where David's rundown show only had 8 yesterday, that he just had to fill in the 8 boxes, and he could have had just 8 boxes up if you wanted to have that up all the time. So production studio does have that capability. You can go larger. I don't remember how big of a template you can actually have on a screen, but again, you got to be very, very careful at that particular point, because they get really, really small, really, really quickly. And oh yeah, Ron is answering, I think, Lois's comment about copy chat, click on a message, copy and paste. Yeah, way to go, Ron. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was mentioning to Lois, if that's what you're talking about, for her to record, to copy the YouTube chat. So, John, any reflections on what Zoom has done for 2025?
Well, I think I have to refer to what you did. Production Studio has had some useful features added to it. The fact that it's now in the cloud probably the biggest feature change that's been there. And that gives frankly, a low cost way of people running webinars to get some production studio standards without having to go and buy all these extra pieces of software. And to tie up with other comments made today, most importantly, when you're using Production Studio, that's what goes to YouTube and any other streaming services. So you haven't got our question of, as we had earlier, of what does everybody see? And the other thing Production Studio does is it removes the lag question, because all the feeds go to Production Studio and then come to all of us. There's not that lag loop where they may come to us and you'll use something like Ecamm Live or Mimo or any of them actually, and then you send that feed back out to Zoom, and then Zoom sends it back out to everybody else. That extra loop means there's always a delay between the video and the audio, because the audio goes direct to everybody and the video goes down to you. You use some sort of software to play around with it, and then you send it back out again. So there'll always be an inherent delay, and you can't get rid of that delay. And you can't add delay to the audio, so it's always going to be a problem. So
Yeah.
I'm very much of the mood that this year I will always use Production Studio. Even if I'm using another tool, I will use Production Studio to stitch it all together at the end.
Yeah, it's never a bad thing too, because it is an actual, if you think about this way from a production point of view too, is that it will be a constant. So should your internet connection from your location that you're using an Ecamm or using whatever software that you're mixing, Production Studio will still survive an internet outage at your location. So that is definitely where John is mentioning that Production Studio is good. You could easily have somebody else babysit, or your TD, your technical director, be the person that's somebody's watching Production Studio as a technical person, and also a technical person doing the main switching at your location or event or whatever that should be. You'll still have that person that could actually be mixing Production Studio. And this is sort of taking what happens in the broadcast world, which we call master control. So Production Studio then would be master control, where you would be bringing in from your other studio or your event, in this case, into master control, Production Studio, the actual event when it's ready. So again, you could always have the pre-roll of 15 minutes before you go live in Production Studio happen, and then have all the technical RTMP feed come in to Production Studio, and just switch that live when you've got everything running properly at that event. So that takes the burden off of the local event as well, having to do a countdown, where you could actually have it in Production Studio doing the countdown, and then just bring in that feed directly in, and it's to Zoom, it's just a camera and audio feed. Right? Okay. So, John, it looks like we're going to wrap it up for 2025 on the Zoom Test Kitchen on this infamous Boxing Day edition of Zoom Test Kitchen. Any final words before we sign off?
It's Christmas, so I'm thinking back when I was a child in the 70s. We got a man on the moon. It's amazing how much technology has changed. It's also amazing how little it's changed. We still haven't got flying cars. We still haven't got further than the moon. So to predict what's going to happen in the world of video conferencing in the next 10, 15 years, got no idea. Amazing directions it's gone, but it's great fun. Don't have to fly around the world. Just start up a camera and you can have friends all around the world. So yeah, don't stop innovating. Please, Zoom users, don't stop innovating in how you use Zoom. It's a really fun way to communicate with people. And quite frankly, I think the competition needs to pull its finger out and work harder, because I think Zoom has such a lead now in the range of things it can do, that the only way I can do something better than Zoom is to put my developer's hat on, take a copy of Zoom, and then just add stuff to it, because I can't see any other product out there that's doing anything to the same degree, which is a shame, because if Zoom wasn't a bunch of people that were so ambitious and so creative, they could easily sit on their laurels, because they don't really have any competition in what they're doing at the moment. But they're just too wound up in wanting to do more and find better ways to do things and make things work better. And we're not under any NDIs, or NDAs even. There's a typo. You would yeah. So I can't tell you about anything new that's happening in Zoom, because I don't get told those sort of things, but I get hints about things and ask questions which hint on where things are going. And I can't see Zoom slowing down next year at all in the things it's doing. And I'm just trying to find useful ways to make AI work within my events, my productions, etc. I say useful ways because although it's really neat to just chat whatever it is, whatever GPT you have, just to make a pretty background or to make an image for your title screen. I don't think AI was designed to just do simple things like that. So I want to do much more interesting stuff with the environment of running meetings and events and webinars. So we've got 6 more days to think about it. But otherwise, it's Happy New Year, 2026.
Wow.
Now
I
I'm
know.
feeling old.
No, don't feel old, John. John, don't feel old.
I'm
okay.
feeling old. I was a late bloomer, my parents say. That's because they tried to conceive me in the early 50s and I didn't actually arrive until the early 60s. So I was definitely a late bloomer. But that's a long time ago now.
It's a long time ago. That's true.
It's even a long time ago since COVID happened and Zoom took off as a business. That's a long time ago now as well.
And they've maintained.
They have kept up their furious development and their ideas and bringing stuff out. And yeah, they're a great tool to have in the box.
Absolutely. So speaking of the 2025 and going into 2026, we will be here next week. And yes, that will be January, everyone, on the Zoom Test Kitchen. So let's wrap this one and we'll tie it in a bow, pun intended. Yes, I'm taking a bow from yesterday and I'm bringing it back today. And you might still be opening presents too. Hopefully not. But you might be opening some Boxing Day sales that you found as well. But on that note, it's time for the Zoom Test Kitchen karaoke.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen, where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air, testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From
you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions. We'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. One YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back. No rest. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back.
No wreck. We did not wreck this week, everyone. And look at that. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this week on the Zoom Test Kitchen. Don't forget to, of course, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to let YouTube know. And it also gets back to Zoom how much you love our content. We are here every Friday from 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And check your local listings to adjust to your time zone. See everyone next year and also next week for another edition of Zoom Test Kitchen. Take care, everyone on YouTube.